caught me off guard there, Kempy, when the, when the video actually came on.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, welcome along. We're going to wait a little while for a few more to join, right? Grab a cup of tea.
Give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. All right, I think we'll get underway now. Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Kemp, one of the Aruba Business Development Managers here at Westcoast. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar, which is an introduction into the Aruba Instant On offering. Westcoast relaunched the Instant On range at the start of February, and I'm glad to say we have Ollie and Gareth from Aruba who will be presenting for us today and showing you the product in action. If you have any questions, feel free to raise those in the chat, and myself and Stelios will get the answers to you. I'll now hand over to Ollie to begin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Really appreciate it. And yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope that you're doing well and you're having a good week. Pleasure to be speaking with you this morning. So thank you very much for your time. Yeah, a few introductions. So my name's Ollie McCritchie. I'm the UK&I SMB BDM, so basically managing all things transactional business. And I'm joined today by the wonderful Gareth, who I'll let introduce himself.
Just forgot to put my video on then. Yes, sorry, good morning all. Let me blur my background so I'm not distracted. So yeah, my name's Gareth Knight. I'm the, I'm Ollie's technical right-hand man, so I'll be running the demo today, so showing you how easy it is to use and set up Instant On.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gareth. And yeah, as Steve mentioned, we're here today because excitingly, our Aruba Instant On portfolio is now with Westcoast. So we launched our relationship together just under a month ago now. And we're joined today by Stel and Steve, who will be working with your questions in the background whilst we talk all things Aruba Instant On. But what actually is Aruba Instant On? Well, if I share my screen, you will get more of an insight. So I believe that should be all up and running for you guys. So Aruba Instant On. Well, 99% of the world's organizations are SMBs. And with all of the technological advancements in the modern day, a network is a necessity. Organizations are demanding high-performing, secure, reliable networks. However, major challenges for these SMBs is number one, they have limited IT resources, so limited individuals in the organization that can run highly complex networks. And number two, budget, right? These SMBs have limited budgets, and so they can't afford to go and fund large amounts of money to go and get these highly complex solutions that realistically for their actual use case are not required, right? And so HPE Aruba Networking, a leader in networking, decided that there was a real opportunity to leverage their enterprise-grade technology, so working on the likes of Ryder Cup, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right, and put their solutions into a small business package that solves the needs and requirements of these small businesses, where simplicity is the absolute backbone of everything. And so that's what led to the birth of Aruba Instant On, a simple, smart, secure, cloud managed networking solution. And we've been running this for almost around 5 years now, and it's growing from strength to strength. And so really excited that we can bring this to you today with the Westcoast team. And so moving on, so what does the Aruba Instant On solution actually solve, right? So to start, you can see there on the top left-hand side on the little desktop that there is what we call our Aruba Instant On cloud portal. So we're talking about remote management here. So all of the products within the Aruba Instant On portfolio can be cloud managed, except for one product family, which I will touch on a little bit later on. So you can access your Aruba Instant On cloud portal wherever you are, because you can either go and log in online on your desktop, or there is also a mobile application as well. So whether you're sat at home, out and about traveling with work, even on the beach, I mean, hopefully you're not making changes to your network on the beach, but you have the capabilities to go and make those changes wherever you are. Easy to use, right? So I touched on the fact that the Aruba Instant On solution, simplicity is the absolute backbone of everything. So you can have your network up and running within a few minutes. It's literally out the box and off you go within, as I said, a few minutes. I think the quickest we've had is the same time of making a cup and coffee, by which you can have your network up and running. So it really is a simple to use. Anybody can do it. You don't need a degree in computer networking, whatever you can think of, right? Even I could set it up, your gran could set it up. It is that easy to use. Superb performance. So touched on the fact that Aruba have worked on the projects of like the Ryder Cup and also Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. All of that highest performing technology, all of the research and development, all of the investment that has gone into those products is installed into this Aruba Instant On portfolio. There's just a few features and functionalities that have been limited on the devices in order to differ between the enterprise side of the portfolio and the SMB side of the portfolio. To the extent that if you take, for example, an AP22 and you actually look on the back, it is an AP505. So it's the exact same hardware as the enterprise side of the organization, but as I touched on, just a few features limited in order to differ between the two portfolios. And value and flexibility. So this is a real competitive advantage piece of the Aruba Instant On solution. So in order to access the cloud portal, all you need to do is purchase the hardware. There's no additional subscription fees, license fees, cloud management fees, no security gateways, controllers, whatever you can think of, right? It's a one-time hardware purchase. So there's no need for any additional fee. So as an organization, you know that coming out of your business is just that one-time payment rather than additional costs coming out of your organization. So you can see that simplicity has been installed into every aspect of not just the technology itself, but also how you purchase it as well. And so going into a little bit of what we have on offer, the actual products available. So we have a series of access points and switches, and here is the wireless portfolio itself. So I'll start with just to touch on, we previously, when the brand was first launched, had a series of Wi-Fi 5 access points. So you can see those AP1 versions, for example, AP11s, AP12, so on and so forth. But now we are moving towards a full Wi-Fi 6 offering. And you can see that we have a number of new access points that are in offer as a result. So your AP20 series are these Wi-Fi 6 access points. So just recently in the last month, we have introduced our AP21, which you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner, which is essentially just a 2x2 entry-level Wi-Fi 6 access point, really dealing with sort of your small home networks, you know, up to 50 devices managed per access point. As you move up the order, you then sort of come onto your AP22, going onto your schools, restaurants, where you've got a greater demand coming onto your network. Next to that, we have our brand new AP32, which is a Wi-Fi 6E access point. So our first Wi-Fi 6E access point within the portfolio, really looking at tackling those modern offices with the latest technologies working off that AP. And right up the top there, you have your Instant On AP25. So a 4x4 AP, Wi-Fi 6, really dealing with those larger use cases like hospitality and boutique hotels. So you can see there that as you're moving from left to right, your features and functionalities increase across your access points, but so does your price point as well. Wrapping it up, moving away from those, we move on to our desk-mounted access points. So we have a brand new AP22 DAP, which also can act as a switch as well in routing mode, as it has 4 ports underneath it as well that can supply PoE to other devices as well. So a really great access point within the range, and pulling it all together, we have one outdoor access point as well in the AP17. Currently, it is just Wi-Fi 5, but I would say keep your eyes peeled to see if there are any changes there very shortly. I think a great thing to touch on the access points here is that what differs us really against our competition is that number one, they are all enterprise grade reliability. So they've all been through the Wi-Fi Alliance to get their Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E certifications. So you know that you have the highest performing access points within this SMB space in the market. And point two is that they all seamlessly work together with smart mesh capabilities. So all of the access points have built within them that smart mesh capability. So if you have any tricky use cases, you can supply it with the Aruba Instant On portfolio. This slide here, I won't go into too much detail, but this is just a summary of basically what we've said. It kind of summarizes that you have a full set of access points that can cover your very, very low end use cases in those small home office environments, all the way up to those that have a greater demand on your network. So those boutique hotels, hospitality, gaming, so on and so forth, so that as a user, you have an access point available for whatever use case comes into question. In terms of competition, well, who do we come up against in this space? Well, really, you're sort of looking against your Ubiquities, U6 Lights, your U6 Pros, those kind of APs, TP Links, your EAP, 620s, 660s, whatever it may be, right? So we really have a great offering, and we have a direct replacement against anyone's competitor SKUs within the market. So you have that full range access point solution available to you as an organization. But we've also got the wired side of the portfolio as well. So I touched on right at the start of the presentation that there was one product family that wasn't in the cloud managed portal, and that is the 1413 series. So unmanaged, literally plug and play. You can set it up on your network and it won't even appear on the cloud portal. So very, very simple as low end. As we move up the switching portfolio, all of these are cloud managed. And I'm just going to touch on at a high level the differences between the switching families. So on your 1830 side, real differences, it's partial PoE compared to the 1930 where it is full PoE. Major benefit as well on the 1930 is that it does have 4 SFP plus 1 to 10 gigabit Ethernet ports, which is a real hit within the market and a real attraction point, which makes it our top selling switch family. As you move up, you then get to the real high end of the switching portfolio in your 1960. So here you have stacking capabilities, class 6 PoE, and aggregator switch as well, right? So that is really looking at your highest level of use case. As we touched on earlier, your sort of boutique hotels, your gaming, where you have the greatest demand on your network. And again, look, we won't go into too much detail, but here is what it looks like in terms of what we were just touching on with your features and functionalities, and also the use cases you're supporting. So once again, very low end, 5-port versions for your small home office, all the way up to sort of your 48 gig PoE versions, 600 watts of PoE, serving those highest level of use cases with the greatest demand on your network. A major benefit of choosing the Aruba Instant On portfolio is the fantastic support options that we have available, and really differs us within the market. So we have some fantastic standard warranty options available on both the access points and the switching portfolio. To start with the APs, you have a standard warranty of 2 years, where you can see there the benefits included is such as next business day arrival. My biggest one that I always go to, I hate speaking to people. I hate trying to log a support case when there's no one to speak to and you go through all those online forums. It drives me absolutely wild. So the biggest one I like to touch on is the 90 days of telephone support, where you can actually pick up the phone and speak to a human. Now, you have that for 90 days, but if you wanted to increase that level of service, you can do that with our foundation care options available with either the 3 or 5 year packages, which means that you have access, importantly, to that telephone support 24/7 for either that 3 or 5 year period. And as well, what's really important is because you're an SMB, it's not like the level of service you're going to receive decreases. The support line that you have available to you is exactly the same as the enterprise, which means that you're ensured the highest level of support if it comes down to any instance. We like to say it's the best support you'll never have to use, but just in case you do have those options available to really make sure you have the highest level of support serving you. From a switches point of view, the standard warranty is even better. So you have a limited lifetime warranty of 5 years after end of sale. But if you did want to increase that level of service, like we said with the 24/7 telephone support, and if you wanted also next business day arrival of your goods as well, then you can upgrade it into those 3 or 5 year packages. So the brand promise, let's summarize the brand together, right? So first of all, simplicity. I touched on it at the start, the absolute backbone of the Aruba Instant On portfolio. Anybody can set up an Aruba Instant On network and have it up and running within a few minutes, right? It is literally that easy. No degrees needed, as simple as that. Built-in security. So the Aruba, all of the Aruba Instant On products have the latest security standards when WPA3 authentications with firewall capabilities and so on and so forth. So you also have a secure and reliable network available to you. Extraordinary performance. We touched on the HP Aruba networking where they sort of deal with those large enterprise cases. All of that R&D, all of that investment is installed into these products, right? So that you have the highest performing technology within this SMB market space. No hidden fees. It's that one-time hardware purchase. There's no need for subscription fees, license fees, whatever fee you can think of, right? It is just one cost out of your organization. So no additional costs coming out of your business. And finally, trusted vendor support. We just touched on the support options available, but HP Aruba Networking has been in the game for over 20 plus years now. I think they're the second largest manufacturer in networking products. So you really have a core support network behind you that will not go down on you if you need it available. Summarized, right, you can see the portfolio there. Those are all the products that we have to date. I think a couple of key things to touch on now before I move on to sort of the use cases and options available to you guys is that you can have per site on your Aruba Instant On network up to a 50 networking device limit. So what that means is whichever use case you're dealing with, you can have up to a combination of 50 access points and switches. So for example, 45 APs and 5 switches. That's the maximum that you can currently have per network. And on your cloud portal, you can manage up to 500 networks theoretically tested, right? That's the guidance. So, 500 sites with 50 networking devices per site. So you can really see that the scalability and also the extent of use case that you can deal with is really, really high with the Aruba Instant On portfolio. Obviously, I work for Aruba, so it's very easy to sort of big it up and sort of promote the technology. But we do also have some big customer wins cases, which I have included in this slide here. Just to let you know that it's really just not those sort of like small businesses, but you're sort of getting up into these more well-known names, particularly Pizza Hut, for example. I probably paid too many visits to there, which I'm not proud of. But anyway, looking at the use cases here, most recently we have completed one with CVS. So they are sort of striving to deliver the highest veterinary services available. They're operating across 3 European countries, dealing with over 500 sites, right? And the majority of their use cases was a small practice in a local town where they sort of had maybe 1 or 2 employees. So on the network and for their devices, they really only needed a switch or 2 and a few APs. So the enterprise side of the portfolio seemed highly complex and very expensive for what they actually needed it for. And so they chose to work with the Aruba Instant On portfolio, and that is being deployed out across their sites with positive feedback already with those that have the Instant On portfolio stored. As I touched on, Pizza Hut as well, one of our first major use cases within the UK, really serving those sort of delivery stores where, again, you sort of have a few employees, maybe a couple of APs and a switch needed. So it really supports your business costs, but also still gives you that high level of performance that you demand. And there's a few other ones on there, and we have plenty of use cases available, which I'm more than happy to share. But yeah, just to give you the understanding, it's not just me being excited and promoting it, it is genuinely doing well. But what's in it for the partners? Well, importantly, we have created a club called the Aruba Instant On Action Partner Club. So it's basically a club that helps you as a partner, basically provide you all of the resources that you need to make you as successful when dealing with the Aruba Instant On portfolio. So that can go for marketing content, quizzes, training, whatever you can think of. But most importantly, what gets people's ears buzzing is the rebates that are available. So when working with the Aruba Instant On portfolio, if you sign up to the Action Club, so it's completely free to sign up to, there are no strings attached at all. You could sign up to it today and never look at it again. But if you did sign up to the Action Club completely free of charge and you started trading with the Aruba Instant On portfolio, you get a 4% cashback for whatever you sell. Right, so completely free to sign up to, and just by working with the portfolio, you have money coming back into your organization, which is currently 4%, right? So it's that simple. Sign up completely free, work with a portfolio, and 4% is coming back into your organization, right? So it really gets the ears ringing normally when I speak about this. And also, currently we have a promotion running alongside, so an Action sign-up offer. So if you are new to the Action program, you will also get 20% cashback on your first purchase of $100 to $1,000. So obviously the currency conversion will work on that at your point of purchase, but that is the offering that we have available as well. So a really nice offering. Partners absolutely love jumping on board with the Action Club. I think we're approaching almost 1,000 signups now. So yeah, really a great club. And you know, I did touch on, it's not just the rebates. You do also have all of the training available. You have your cashback tracker there as well, the latest news to ensure that you're up to date with everything regarding the Aruba Instant On portfolio, the offers that are available, and so on and so forth. So a really good club that we find really benefits our partners. How to purchase the Aruba Instant On portfolio? Well, it's great that I've spoken about it, but there are also some additional commercial offerings available to you guys, right? So to start, we have what's called, if you're purchasing, well, we call it our smart book. So if you're purchasing any unit of any quantity from Westcoast, you can have up to a 72% discount on some of our items, and unlimited quantity, right? So easy. It's meant to be as simple as possible. So transacting with the Aruba Instant On portfolio is as simple as possible. You ask for units, you're given a price immediately, and that's it. Happy days, off you go. But if you're dealing with, let's say, larger opportunities, and you're, say, purchasing in those larger quantities, so bundles, then you can take advantage of our S&B offers. So dependent on the product that you are purchasing, if you buy in a bundle of either 5 or 20, you can get an additional 5% discount off that smart book price, right? So an incentive there as well. If you are dealing with those larger opportunities, you do have additional upfront discounts available to you as well. That's everything from my side. I'm going to hand you over to Gareth now, who will run you through our Cloud Portal demo. Like I said, if there's any questions, more than happy to answer them at the end. I will also be answering a few in the background if there are any in the chat. But thanks very much, and I will hand you over to Gareth.
Thank you, Ollie. Right, just let me share my screen quickly. There we go. Can you all see that?
Yes, we can.
Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take up Ollie's challenge actually, and I'm going to try and set up an instant on site, a brand new instant on site in the time it takes Ollie to make a cup of tea. I don't know how long that is normally, Ollie. I hope your kettle's
I don't really drink tea, but we'll go hot chocolate. Unfortunately, I've got childish taste buds.
Hot chocolate's quicker. Less cheating. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk you through. So I've got one site that's already been built, and I'm going to walk you through how to create a new site. So basically, what you'll do either on your mobile app or through the Cloud Portal on your desktop, you can just go to the Instant On Portal webpage, click on Create Account, pop an email address in there, sign your life away for updates, agree to the license agreement, create an account, and you're good to go. So sign up is really, really simple. And then what you can do is sign in and you will be greeted with your sites. Now, this is one I've already prepared. What I'm going to do first off, in true daring style, is show you how easy it is to set up a site. So while you go put the kettle on, and I've got a switch and a couple of APs that are already powered up, so I am cheating a little bit. But what I'm going to do is, it's easier on the phone actually, because we can use the camera to scan the QR code on the switches or the serial numbers from the access points. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to set up a new site. And what you see, as Ollie said, you know, it's so simple. You know, I think we did a session with the West Coast guys last week, and someone said they got their dad to do it, and you know, he didn't ask any questions. He just went through and followed all the instructions. So it's all very, very simple. You can choose what you're adding. To be fair, you can choose either of those options, and what it will do is automatically pick up any other devices that are connected. So I'm going to choose a switch because I'm going to use the barcode on the luggage tag. And it will guide you through, and just make sure that your switch is on and it's connected to the internet. Connect it to a port. There should be a flashing orange light, which there is. And then I can go and find my device. So I can scan the QR barcode. So I'll just grab that from the switch. Make my camera to focus. There we go. And it's also picked up, as you can see, a couple of APs that I've got. So I can add those devices. I can create a network. So we'll call this West Coast, he says, and create a net. So this is actually creating a Wi-Fi network as we go along. So I'll just pop that in. I'm in the UK. We'll give that the name. And there we go. It's ready. So what's going to happen now? We can see I've got an active network. I've got 3 online devices. They're just synchronizing at the moment. Sorry, I'm trying to click trying to click on my phone. So we'll just see in here they're actually synchronizing now. So if I go into the portal, actually, sorry, just sign out, sign in again. You'll see now I've got 2 sites. I had the one I created previously, and we've got the new West Coast site. And you'll see that the actual information you see on both the mobile app and the actual portal itself is exactly the same. So while we're waiting for those to synchronize, and once they're done, that network will be available. I can just show you quickly what you can expect to see. So this is one that we previously had set up. It's at a friend's house. It's running so that we can actually, you know, show things. Actually, you'll see on the right hand side here, it's actually doing an upgrade here, so that might take a little bit longer. So I hope your kettle's really slow, Ollie. But what we've got here is the networks tab. So this is where we can add wired or wireless networks. So if it's a wired network, it's going to be a VLAN. We'll apply a VLAN ID to that. We can create a wireless network, whether that's for employees or guests, for instance. We can have that open if it's for guests. We can use Wi-Fi enhanced open as well. So even though there's no password, so to speak, between the client and the access point, it's still a secure connection using the simultaneous authentication of equals, I think is the protocol that's used there. Various options we can have here. So we can show or hide the SSID. We can do some optimizations. We can change the network assignment, so we can allow users to get this an IP address from the same network that the devices on that they're connecting to. Or we've got this NAT mode, which is very useful if you're doing guest access. So what that will do is the access points will actually give the clients a unique address that you can select from here. So we've got a 172.16 here. And that will NAT those addresses into the actual network itself. So that will protect your corporate network, for instance, from guest users that might be connecting through a portal. We can choose which band that's on, whether it's on 2.4 and 5 or one or the other. And we can extend the 2.4 gig range by enabling lower data rates as well. So as Ollie said, these are based on our enterprise access points, but the functionality has been purposefully limited, shall we say, just to maintain that differentiation. That's not to say we don't have a good feature set. It's just limited in terms of how deep you can go into that configuration capability. Sticking with the options that we have, we can create a schedule for this network to be available. So if it's if it's just a store that's open 5 days a week, we can limit that, and we can set the time of day when that's active. We can limit network access. So this one was set up, I did suggest this was a guest network. So what we're able to do as default, that will restrict access to the internet only unless you specify an address or addresses here, such as maybe a printer you may want to let people access to, or a particular server on the network. You can just pop the IP address in there and it will automatically allow access to that. Network assignment, so we can define which devices are going to show this SSID. So generally it's going to be all of them, but you may want to limit it to one in reception. And then applications, this is where we would be able to, there's nothing visible here because I haven't created it yet, but this is where we're able to use the enterprise grade deep packet inspection and actually see what applications are being used on the network. And we can actually create rules that will limit what people can access. And I can show you that now if we look at the applications. So this is what's been used in the last 24 hours with 13 clients. We can have a look. We can see it's mostly going to be streaming, I think. Some uncategorized stuff. Obviously, we can't see everything, but these are the categories that we can see, and then we can actually limit those. So if this is going into, for instance, a primary school or even a coffee shop, you probably want to limit people from looking at adult content, for instance, or politics or malicious websites. So we've got that ability built in. Again, there's no charges for this. It's all built into the platform. In terms of, in fact, let's just have a quick look here. Is the West Coast? There it is. That was quick. So that probably was slightly longer than a cup of tea. I think we had some updates to do there, but basically that's it. That new site has been set up. So what I'm going to do on my trusty phone, actually, because if I try and connect to it on here, I'll lose my connection. But if I if I go into my settings, go into the Wi-Fi, there's West Coast, pop the password in. So now this is just frozen briefly while it reconnects, and then we should. So I'm connected to that now on my phone. Let me just make sure I'm screen mirroring again. Oops, excuse me. And we should see, if I go back to my, there we go. So you can see now I'm actually connected to the West Coast SSID. It's all connected to the same network, so you know, I'm not doing anything clever there. But I think that was what, 5 minutes that took to set the site up. Obviously, I had everything turned on already, so you know, there's a slight cheat going on there. But oops, excuse me. But I was able to very, very quickly get that set up, and we should actually be able to see shortly. Hasn't quite refreshed yet, but I'm now connected to the West Coast network. So again, there we go. That's my device there. So we can see I'm connected with WPA2 personal. It's not actually identified the device type yet. We'd have to give it a little chance, but we can see it's connected to the West Coast network through this particular device. What we can do is obviously we can go and rename all of these devices as well. So we can actually say this is my AP11D, for instance. So, or you know, give it a location so that we know roughly where that person is. Save that. Excellent. Pop back here. So we should now be able to see that I'm now connected to the AP11D. Shortly, that should identify the type of device that I have. So going back to the app, we can obviously see the site health is all good. If any devices go offline, then obviously I'll get sent an email. I'll get an alert from the app on my phone. So again, it's all very, very simple, very straightforward, very quick to create it's a simple, secure wireless network that took me, I think, what was that, 10 minutes, I think. And that's it. That's the demo. Obviously, there's a few more bits and pieces that we can do in terms of creating VLANs and stuff like that. But if anybody's got any questions around that, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A. Did we have any questions, anybody?
Nothing so far in the chat, Gareth. Additional on top of that.
I see. There's been a couple
answered. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think we're all covered. Well, hopefully the simplicity of the product actually doesn't create the questions, because
exactly.
from the demo you see that it's quite a straightforward product. So on that note, we can wrap up now. So first of all, thanks Ollie, thanks Gareth for presenting for us today. hopefully everyone on the webinar today found it very insightful, and please feel free to reach out to myself or Stelios if you do have any further questions offline. You know, keen to help and support where we can. So once again, thanks for joining today's webinar, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.